Greetings, everyone, and good morning. Pete Pardo here from Sea of Tranquility. Welcome to another edition of our Rant series, part 2 with Martin Popoff, looking at bad covers by very specific bands. Good morning, Martin. How are you doing this morning?
Oh, I'm doing okay. Looking forward to this.
Cool. Yeah. So we got, let's see, what do we got today? We got UFO, Scorpions, Van Halen, and what was the other one?
Def Leppard.
Def Leppard, that's right. So basically what we've done is we've picked a bunch of bands that have kind of historically bad album covers, and we're just going to kind of show you some of them and talk a little bit about it. So I'm going to have Martin kick off with Def Leppard.
Yeah, okay. So, yeah, I mean, I do like this idea because it is odd when you get a band that has kind of routinely has a lot of bad album covers and you wonder why, sort of thing, right? So, so Def Leppard, they start off with On Through the Night, which, truck going, it's not terrible, especially for a new band in the new wave of British heavy metal. They're young guys. But I tell you, I think what starts to happen here as we go forward, first of all, the name of the band is not the greatest name of a band. It's a little cheesy, and it's got the alternate spelling and all that. And they fit the whole thing into a triangle. So, okay, so not too bad, right? We've got this logo. It's complicated. It's not terrible. So we start with On Through the Night, but then what happens is they decide we have to, we take our lettering and we just spread it out like this, and now it starts looking worse because it does, like I say, not a great name. Now it's kind of looking all spiky. It's kind of messy, right? So for the second album, not a great album cover, and the bad thing about this is actually a Hypnosis album cover. I mean, it looks like it, but it also looks like a bad Hypnosis album cover. The picture's kind of one of these, like they used to do these kind of overexposed 70s shots, and then these guys, and it's like, whatever, right? And it's a little bit like the first show we did with Abandon, right? The guy diving, but here there he's off a building, here he's into an empty pool. But yeah, don't like the coloring, find the whole thing kind of messy, and just, what are they getting at?
Yeah, the black and white with the mix with the color of the pool, that doesn't work at all.
Yeah, exactly. And then we get Pyromania, which is behind here, you could see. And what I really don't like about the Def Leppard album covers is that they start to standardize on these kind of boring adolescent primary colors, and they just stick with it. And illustration, and they decide that, we like this yellow and red and goes with the blue and all this. So it's kind of an artistic shot or illustration that they did, and it's not a terrible album cover. But again, this logo is not really cutting it as a cool logo because again, the name is a little bit weird too, right? I don't have a Hysteria here, but really, the problem with Hysteria is it kind of looked like Pyromania. It took them all those years to make this album, and basically the album cover looks sort of the same, and then it also looks sort of the same as Adrenalize. I mean, these boring images where you just kind of got the text on there, and it's annoying to me because it's almost like they're patronizing to their fans. They're saying, we're not a heavy metal band, we're a pop band. This is just for a t-shirt. We're going to give you colors you understand. We're not going to get too artsy with the image anymore. It's essentially, we're going to give you the yellow and the red, just like you've got your crayons out as a little kid, right? So it starts to get a little annoying and hard on the eyes, right? I don't know. I don't have them all here, but I've just got a few other examples. We've got when they do the hits packages, same kind of thing. It's just like blah, text with some texture behind it, right? Some sort of a pattern almost, right? And you've got the flag in there a little bit. They're iconic. They're known for that. X, again, the idea really at this point, I mentioned the word pop before, but this is when they're really trying to be pop. And then basically they're saying, what, we belong to the whole world. We're massive. We're going to sell, we're going to send X, what is it called? X or XXX? I can never remember. But we're gonna make this record diamond, and of course it doesn't work. But basically the idea is, I can envision this white X on black T-shirts all around the world and on billboards, and
how did that work out for them?
Yeah, exactly, right. And this is a band I called on their bad album covers, and they did give me a defense of but it's because it went down to CD size, and we just want a simple, striking image and all this. This is what Phil and Joe told me, sitting in a hotel restaurant one day when we went over these album covers. So they weren't buying it, and they were a little offended, right? That I thought they had bad album covers, whatever, right? And here we are being even more pop.
Yeah.
Right. This is the Elvis and then the Morrissey thing. Oh, look what huge stars we are in the bright lights, right? And we're just they look like a dance troupe, right?
Yeah. I cringed when I saw that. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
you got to be kidding me.
Yeah. I know, it's the worst. And then Retroactive, they did the whole, Alice Cooper did this too. This is that famous old painting, reproduction of the one that looks like a skull. And the one album cover I thought that wasn't even bad, but it's not even great, is Slang. This is kind of their try harder, go grungy album. And so at least they had some artistic text for Slang. And even the Def Leppard's a little different. And they went away from the primary colors, right? This was their serious dark album, right? So they had to have a serious, artsy album cover for once. But I wanted it. I was thirsting for it out of them because I'm just sick of the Crayola packages for all of their covers, right? And I can't remember what Sparkle Lounge looks like or whatever the heck else they've got out there. But it's just a very annoying catalog that just feels like it's treating their fans as kids.
Yep. All right, so from there we're going to go to the Scorpions. So, and I don't have all of them, but I don't think I've ever seen a band that has just basically decided we're going to make all of our covers like so sexual in nature that we're going to piss off half the population. Yeah. You have to wonder if like the Scorpions would have even been bigger than they were if they would have decided to kind of like veer away from that a little bit. I know sex sells, I get it. But man, some of these are just like, all right, so early on, so we got Lonesome Crow, which, I don't know. I get, first of all, you look at that cover and you're like, well, where's the crow? Well, hold on. The crow is over here. Right. But it's just kind of a weird album cover. Quite frankly, I don't know if you ever saw the reissue. I forget which record label it was. They had the Rodney Matthews album cover out with the giant scorpion in the desert. Yeah. I mean, that was so much better. That was at least kind of cool looking. This is kind of like, whatever. All right. So for the next couple, I've got this weird, little bound book thing. It's got like Fly to the Rainbow and In Trance and Virgin Killer in it. So first of all, and thankfully it's in negative here. That is the original album cover of Virgin Killer.
Yeah.
I mean, in what universe?
It was a photograph. It was an actual photograph.
Exactly. In what sense of reality does anybody thinking putting like a 9-year-old naked, or however old she was, 9-year-old naked girl on your album cover? Okay.
Called Virgin Killer.
Yeah, right. I mean, that's just wrong, right? And then here in the U.S. and probably up in Canada as well, they released it here with a really bad album cover of the guys looking all hippie-ish on the front. That was not much better either. And then you've got let me get it here. So we got In Trance, which some people really dig. I don't know. Again, very sexual in nature. Kind of cool. You got Uli's. White Stratocaster down here. You got this girl with her, breasts kind of falling out, whatever.
Artsy.
Yeah, it is. And then, all right, I'm going to have a little picture here of it to show, but it's just, see if we can get as close as we can get. So there you got, so we got Fly to the Rainbow right here, which really just, what is it? It's this kind of dude in some kind of space outfit with like, helicopter blades for feet. What does that have to do with Fly to the Rainbow? To the Rainbow. I don't know. It's just a really weird album cover. These are just bizarre. So if you want to see, all right. So there's the Virgin Killer one in all its horrible glory. I don't know. And then I don't have the original European album cover of Taken by Force, which I actually think is kind of weird and macabre and creepy with the cemetery and everything like that. But here in the States, we got this.
Yeah.
Which is terrible. Chris Allo, that's right. Are you going to put this on a t-shirt? Probably not. All right. And then on the back, what do you get? Well, we got it all over again. Okay. It's terrible. I remember buying this LP back in the day and I was like, man, this is cheesy. Great album, but just not good at all. All right. So then we got a string of kind of bizarre ones. So you got Love Drive. All right. I remember coming home with this from the record shop and my parents were kind of like, what are you buying here? That's like, yeah, well, so Love Drive. woman with her breast exposed, bubble gum, guys all into it, obviously. And then, you know, on the back, she's got the, you know, the clothes are off, basically. I don't know. Is it kind of
word that doesn't exist, right? Like what is love drive? There's no word called that, right?
No, not at all. And I get a lot of people like this, but do you just like it because you're a male and it's got a woman with half of her top exposed? I don't know, but it's just such a, I mean, are they really thinking that this is going to sell millions and millions of copies worldwide because of this? It's not. I mean, I hate to tell you, it's not. And you know, it doesn't get much better with this. So here we have, you know, animal magnetism. You know, again, they're trying to play off of, you know, imagery, it's very sexual imagery. So you got the dog, you got the guy standing up here, you know, you see who he is. You got the woman looking up at him, like, what is actually going on here, right? It's just kind of weird the more you think about it. In fact, I almost think this is weirder than the Love Drive album cover.
Yeah.
I'm not going to show, well, I will show. This was cool, all right? Again, this is metal. Because I remember when I saw this in the stores, I was like, yeah, look at that. I mean, that's what you put on a t-shirt. That's kind of crazy. And, you know, that's rock and roll right there. So I'm all in for that one. And then you got to put this out. So again, we're back to the whole, you know, overtly sexual album cover imagery here. I don't know. Again, some people dig this. I always thought this was kind of a stupid album cover.
Yeah.
And it just, you know, and I'm not going to bother showing too many more because there's the guys on the back. Again, you don't want to put that on the front, but you couldn't have thought of anything a little bit more kind of intriguing. And all right, so yeah, he's wearing a leather jacket. I guess that's kind of metal, right? But I don't know. And then one of their more recent ones, Sting in the Tail. I mean, what is? I don't understand what this is supposed to be. Okay, I don't get it. I don't get it.
Yeah, and the title, right? Sting in the Tail.
Sting in the Tail. And there's some ones that came out before this that are just even worse than some of the ones I showed before, but I don't have them on CD. And it's
Pure Instinct, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, just really, really bad.
World even, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I don't understand. Like, I mean, this band, and probably the coolest album cover they ever put out is Tokyo Tapes. And it's an iconic live shot, right? Even though it's not a perfect live shot either. But it's kind of like we talked about in the other episode, the Grand Funk Railroad live album, right? Which had a kind of a cool shot, but it's kind of like fuzzy, and the band, they're all like kind of crowded together. That's like
or Clash London Calling, right?
Exactly. Yes, it's another one. So yeah, but just some bad stuff there. Not good. Scorpions, I don't know. That's you have to wonder if they were to do it all over again, would they take the same route with some of these album covers? I don't know if they would. But you know what? We're talking about it here in 2020, so obviously they did something right?
Right on. Okay, so my second and last choice for the day is Van Halen. Now, Van Halen is a little bit like I talked about in the last episode, where they're so big, these images have become iconic over time. So they kind of willed themselves into the public pop consciousness through just being such a massive band and being such massive personalities, right? But let's start with the first one, which is not a bad album cover. I don't mind this. I don't like that it's all separate band shots. It's pretty cool, and you've got Dave on the back. That's kind of a great shot. So this looks like, oh, this is a band going places. It does look kind of expensive and classy. And like these guys are going to be world beaters. They've got this great logo to start out with. So yeah, good album cover.
That's good because they're showing, hey, we're cocky, we're here, we're full of piss and vinegar, and yeah, we got the attitude.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then things go downhill really fast with this excellent color choice of brownie, orange, and blue, two-tone color choice. Van Halen, let's see, Van Halen 2. So you get a little 2 up here. And then you get the logo. So they're trumpeting their new logo, and you know the Chris Allo rule. This looks awesome on a T-shirt. So that's kind of cool. And again, you know the simplicity of it. They are just trying to go for we're big, we're bold. You don't need to see much more than this. That's kind of the idea. And this has become kind of iconic. You look at it so many times, and it's so big in the world that it kind of wins you over in some strange, twisted way, right? Van Halen 3 would be this one. Women and Children First. So now we're starting to get into this idea where, and I noticed this with a lot of these, there's total disconnect for almost all Van Halen covers from their title. They have nothing to do with the thing. And you know, this is kind of classy and regal, but you know, the inset of the band looking kind of all weird like this, and then this title doesn't make any sense at all. But again, they're trying to be different. They are quite a heavy metal band, really, at this point, but they're trying to not look totally heavy metal. So they're trying to say we're aristocratic, we're regal, we're different, we're upscale. We're not trying to be so you know, overtly heavy metal with their covers, right? Then you get this one where you've got an inset of I think his name's William Kurelek painting, and there's some more of it. It's much larger painting. He's a Canadian guy of Ukrainian descent. I think he had some mental health problems. But again, just kind of messy and annoying and kind of like, I mean, it's cool when, you know, if you're smoking pot and you're drinking beers and you're saying Van Halen cool stoner band or whatever. This is kind of a stonerish looking look to it. But yeah, little fair warning on here. Yeah, artsy, daring, and again different. Not terrible, but kind of just ugly on an objective level, right? Okay, so then we've got, then we move forward into, I think I'm doing these in order. Diver Down, you know, just, you know, they had a meaning behind it, and it's the flag you put up if there's a diver below water or whatever. And again, the whole idea here is we're trying to look very, there's the back cover, right? So they get a little fancier with the back cover. So we're trying to be very, very simple. And you know, it recalls and suggests, you know, Eddie's you know, Frankenstein guitar look and all that stuff, right? So that's kind of cool. And again, they're almost being like daring you to hate their album cover at that point, right? Then we've got this one, you know, son of Black Sabbath, Heaven and Hell.
I was just gonna say.
Yeah. But pretty cool album cover. It's not so bad, right? It's kind of neat and mischievous. You know, he's smoking and stuff. It's kind of cool. But you know, the 1984 is in Roman numerals, so there's some cognitive dissonance there with that. You know, it's called 1984, as in the back. That's the other thing, right? This was one you have to flip like this because the back cover is upside down, right? So you got to go like that to see it the right way, and then you get the title down here. So yeah, so it's like, okay, this isn't, you know, they're trying to make it look like a kind of a magazine cover, right? So not a terrible album cover. And 1984, I mean, there is a link, you know, it's like the baby of the new year or whatever, right? Kind of like Rush Permanent Waves, I think is technically came out January 1st. I think that technically came out January 1st. 5150, title's got nothing to do with the cover. Kind of a pretty cover, an attractive cover. You know, I don't hate this cover too much, but it is kind of like, there's not much of an image there, no big deal. On the back, you get the band there. But again, no connect really to the title. Things go downhill. Artsy cover shot of the band. Chris Allo rule breaks the rule. You know, and again, OU812 is just like a haha little joke, got nothing to do with the title. Best of, now we get into these really bad ones, right? Where they just like, oh, let's just throw the logo up there. It's really all about the logo. We're basically AC/DC, right? We're just basically trying to sell our logo. You know, for unlawful carnal knowledge, got nothing to do with that. Just, let's see, we've got the live album, haha, you know, funny, you know, the Jesus was stayed standing or whatever in this hurricane. But yeah, not terrible, but I don't like the type, and you know, I don't like the fact that it's live in caps, colon, right here, comma, right now, all lowercase, period. When you write a book on Van Halen, that gets very annoying, putting that over and over again. Balance, bad taste, you know, this Siamese twin thing. No one wants to see Siamese twins of 8-year-old boys or girls or whatever it is. Balance, you know, there's a little tie in the cover. Just kind of an ugly cover. Stock photo of the Cannonball Man, you know, Van Halen 3. And then Different Kind of Truth. Not a terrible cover, but not great either, right? And again, horrible title. Can never remember it. A Different Kind of Truth. Like, what the heck? And what's that got to do with this train, which you know, this album cover, if you go back, the Commodores used this on one of their 70s album, I think 1977 or something. So people say, hey, you're using the same train. So not terrible. And, you know, again, the idea, Alex Van Halen is the guy that kind of gets to do the covers and work on the covers. And again, I think a lot of these images become iconic over time just because of how massive the band was. And so there's something always to be said for the idea of the simple album covers, but I think more often than not, Van Halen, again, kind of just doesn't do a great job.
Yeah, I agree. I think Alex should stick to drumming and get someone else to handle the album covers. Well, I don't know how much that matters anymore, but
Right.
All right, guys, you ready for some UFO? Because all right, how do we start here? All right, so I guess we start back at the beginning. So granted, at this point in time, the band are just fresh. They're nobody. There's no budget for anything, so you get this. All right. Not even like good shots of like planets or whatever. I mean, what are these, like oranges? Yeah. Like you don't even know what they are. They don't. It's just. I don't know. And then here, second album, 1 hour of space rock flying. I get it, but man, how cheap is looking is that, right?
I can't remember the story, Pete, and whether it's in my UFO books or not. I don't think it is, but basically, you know, they're on Beacon in the UK and they're on Nova in Germany, and those look like they're German-designed krautrock album covers.
They absolutely
so I wonder
do.
if the German label designed those rather than Beacon. I don't know.
They probably did. Well, that's kind of how they were marketing these guys back in the day. And you know, I listened to enough krautrock and space rock to know that, yeah, there's elements of that on these albums, but these are more like blues rock albums. You know, yeah. I mean, that's basically what they are. There's elements of space rock going on here, but they were trying to market them that way. And those album covers definitely, but they're just not good album covers at all. So, all right, so Shanker joins the band. They hook up with Hypnosis, who works with them on quite a long string of album covers, some of which are kind of cool, some of which are a little puzzling. I never liked this one.
Yeah.
I mean, I get it. You got the, you know, the unidentified flying object all the way up here, but man, the colors are jarring. It's just like, I don't know. This, again, doesn't even look like a hard rock album. This is kind of like, you know, the two women going at it in the shower with all this strange faucets and things all over the place. I don't know. This is just like absolutely bizarre. And again, if you see this in the record shop and you don't know who UFO is, are you going to look at this and say, I got to have that? I don't know.
One of those is Genesis P. Orridge, right? Who recently died, right?
Yes, yeah. One of them was famous.
Artist transition, yeah.
Yep. And I showed this one on a previous episode, but you know, no heavy petting.
Yeah.
Again, a monkey, naked woman, a tube coming out of him into her. I don't know what it has to do with the album title. It's just bizarre, just to be bizarre. And, you know, you can kind of totally, if you look really close, you can tell it doesn't even look like that monkey was originally sitting on her shoulder. It's all been kind of like pasted together. And it's like, I don't know. And again, I dig the Hypnosis album covers because they're just so out there, but just sometimes they just have, there's no connection whatsoever. I don't mind this one. And this one is bizarre too. So this is obviously Lights Out. Again, kind of weird. So for a couple albums, they had like the guys actually participate in the photo shoot. And it's just so, you know, if you look at, this was the back, right? So if you kind of, I don't know. Yeah. It just, again, I have a t-shirt with it on, so obviously I don't mind. Yeah, it's not bad. I think that, and I actually like, I'm going to show it just because I think I actually like this one, but it's just, it's bizarre as well. So yeah, so you got, you know, the whole album cover is four of the guys with their hair slicked back in suits with these weird little marbles in their, you know, eyes, nose, and mouth, and then Shanker is just sitting there like clueless, right? Just again, is there a meaning there? Maybe, I don't know. I think it's kind of cool. I always thought this was a terrible album cover to a great live album. I never liked this album cover. Sorry, it's just. And again, I own a t-shirt of it just because it's such a great album, but it's just like, this is just, you know, if you want to have, if it's a really good, if you want it to be portrayed as a great live album, you got to have a live shot of the band on there, right? I'm sorry.
Or fans that at least have like long hair and mustaches and look stoned and stuff. Not like a 12-year-old kid with, you know, who's not sure how long he wants his hair, right?
I know, exactly. Yeah.
It looks like that, right?
The Wild, the Willing, and the Innocent. I don't even, to this day, I don't know what that's supposed to be.
So bad, yeah.
I mean, literally, I could sit and stare at this for hours and still not figure, I can't figure, all right, there's a hand there, he's grabbing a ladder rung. What the rest of it is, I have no idea. It's just, that's terrible. Terrible, terrible, terrible. This just looks cheap.
Yeah.
You know, all right, yeah, whatever. I remember when this came out, I saw the album in the Rex. I almost didn't buy it because I absolutely hated the album cover, Misdemeanor.
Yeah.
Just I mean, all right, a teenage girl with tattoos and a gun. All right.
And even the placement of the text on that just is annoying, right?
It is. It's just, yeah, and it's just, it's not there's nothing appealing. Other, you know, I always love the UFO logo.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's nothing appealing about this album at all. At all. Not a terrible album. Not one of their best, obviously. I kind of skipped this somehow. But this is one of the rare instances where I think the album cover with the band on the front is actually kind of cool. So the No Place to Run album. I don't mind this. Yeah, I don't mind this at all. My only issue with this is one of those weird albums, and not to get into the history of albums here and stuff like that, but this is an album with great songs, great album cover. I don't like George Martin's production on here because I think it's just too lush and like clean for the band. But I think this album deserved to be raw and gritty and heavy, and it's really not. But the songs are great. Anyway, that's a story for another day. Making Contact.
Yeah.
I don't know, Martin. I see this sitting in the record racks. I'm going to be like, all right then.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I guess it's got meaning with the title, but even that blue stripe down the side, it's like, oh, we got to fill in something here.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't belong there. I mean, and talk about not giving any thought at all to an album cover. How about High Stakes and Dangerous Men?
Oh yeah. Yeah, then now they get bad, right? Now they get really bad. Yeah.
There's nothing artful about this. You could arguably say there's a little art and thought put behind this, right? But there's none of it here. Absolutely none of it here. This is like basically, okay, UFO, we're back together. We're going to put out a quick album with a new lineup, and we're just going to wrap this in something and get it out there. This, to me, is one of the biggest misses of all time. So this should have been a big deal. Great. It should have had a kick-ass album cover. Walk on Water, Shanker's back in the band, and you got a really bad picture of the guys here.
Yeah, there's an alternate earlier Japanese cover, which isn't much better, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of the same thing.
Disappointing. As is, I mean, at least this, again, I don't really know what it symbolizes. At least there, you got some kind of halfway decent art, but it's just kind of like, I don't know.
Yeah.
And, I mean, come on, guys. You couldn't even put a better picture of a shark on your cover. Because that's the problem. It's not even a good picture of a shark. It's like you got like half the jaw. It's just all right. You Are Here.
Oh my!
Really? Is that where you are? Where is here? I don't know. Is it a desert? Is it someplace that's lacking a lot of rain because it looks like dry caked mud? I don't know. The shadow. I don't know.
Pete, I went to that tour, and the merch table is the sorriest looking merch I've ever seen. It basically was just that shirt. It was a white shirt with that red and maybe the shadow, and that was it. I mean, it was even worse than the album cover. And it's literally the only thing they had. I'm thinking, UFO, my God, you got all these great images that you could put on. This should be a merch booth with 20 shirts, right? And that's all they had. Is like, it was just so sad.
Did it even have the tour dates on the back?
I don't know. It was just the ugly.
Could that even save it? Could that even save that? I don't know.
Yeah.
What is this? The monkey puzzle.
Oh, yeah.
bring back the monkey from No Heavy Petting, at least. I mean, come on. It's like, what is this? What is?
And I even hate the text, right? The text
it's terrible.
Title, right?
It's terrible.
Yeah.
You look at it and you're like, all right, let's see. The Visitor. You know what? Argument can be made that this is somewhat interesting. It's an old classic painting. I don't mind the kind of old book look. Not terrible. What else we got here? Showtime. Awful.
Yeah.
Awful, awful, awful. Seven Deadly. I don't know.
Yeah.
Hey, it's colorful at least, right?
Yeah.
But what does a skeleton have to do with anything? I don't know.
I hate that title too. Seven Deadly.
Yeah, I don't like it. This is terrible too. Conspiracy of Stars.
Yeah.
Like what? I don't know. I mean, none of these they're just not appealing at all. The Salentino cuts, I get what they're going for here. It's covers and stuff. You got the jukebox, but it's just, it looks like an old K-Tel or, Time Life collection.
Foreigner Hits or whatever that.
Yeah, exactly. Right. I don't like it. So it pains me to do this because I love so many of these albums, but man, it's just like, I just don't get these album covers. I don't get where they're going with them. Some of them are just nightmarishly bad. Some are just puzzling and bizarre. Some are kind of cool and bizarre, but yeah, I don't know. So there we have it. If you guys want to see more of this, we're happy to oblige because there's a couple other bands we were talking about that we kind of put to the side for today. So if you want to see a part 3, let us know. This seems to be kind of a fun thing that everybody's digging these days. So Martin, thanks for joining. This was a good time.
Awesome. Yes. Thank you. Yeah.
And remember, everybody, it's like we're just kind of poking fun at some of these stuff. It's like, I mean, we know that beauty's in the eye of the beholder, right? So sometimes I'm sure plenty of folks who love some of these covers, and that's totally cool. I just think that it's always interesting to kind of look at the art kind of in front of the music, right, so to speak. And some of these are a little bit puzzling, but it's just, we love poking fun at some of this stuff. But a lot of these,
I always worry that people I know or even friends of mine have designed some of these later, right? Like I think that's kind of the case. I'm thinking through my mind. It's like, oh man, is this one of his? So.
Well, but what's interesting is that in a lot of cases we're not actually like kind of making fun of the art itself, but a lot of times it's just the art just doesn't match the album, right?
Yeah.
It's like, but yeah, some of these are pretty bad. All right, let's be truthful here. But yeah. So anyway, visit us on the web at www.seatranquility.org. We're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, of course. We're here on YouTube all the damn time. Martin, you want to plug that new book that's just come out?
Well, yeah, the one that's going crazy right now is Limelight Rush in the 80s. That's what I'm packing up, night and day to get out the door. So it's a trilogy. There's going to be Driven, Rush in the 90s, and In the End, in quote marks. So I do have Anthem as well. So I've got the 70s one and the 80s one, selling lots of those. And the Iron Maiden trilogy still going. And anything you need to know is at martinpopoff.com.
Cool. Sounds good. All right. So thanks everybody for joining. We'll see you all tomorrow. Have a good one. Martin, take care. Bye-bye.